We are live.
Looks like there's a countdown. So does that mean we're official like a referee's whistle?
Yes, we are official right now. We are officially live on
Okay. Well,
social.
everybody, welcome to Talk to Me Tracy or Talk Tracy to Me. So I'm Mark Costalis and this is my beautiful
And
co-host
I'm Jareen Costalis.
and
Hello.
and we are the Costalis team. Woohoo! All
Yes.
right.
And tonight kicks off our new series, Talk Tracy to Me, episode 1. I'm so excited. This is an idea that Mark created, came to him one day in a dream. And we're
While I was eating berries in a meadow.
yes, yes. So, Talk Tracy to Me. Why don't you tell them a little bit about Talk Tracy to Me since this is our first launch of this new series that we're doing?
S- Yeah, so about 3 years ago, Joreen and I made and our family decided to move to the Central Valley, Tracy, California, and we would definitely want to be able to know what's going on in the city of Tracy. But there's a Facebook page, and the Facebook page discusses things that are good, things that are bad, things that are people are complaining. So the Tracy Raves the Rants page on Facebook just talks about things that are going on in Tracy, things that people like, and we want to be able to talk about some of those things that people are talking about on Tracy Raves the Rants and put it more on a more ideal platform where people can talk about it or even put their raves and rants on here so we can kind of discuss things going on in Tracy. So without further ado, our first topic, we will discuss what happened recently, which is earlier this week, was National Night Out. So, not sure if, well, I am sure
Wait, wait,
that,
wait. Hold on. Sorry to interrupt you. But let's start from the beginning. Let's start on Monday because there's a lot that happened in Tracy this week. And
okay, so you
do
start
you
off
want to
Monday and
talk
I'll do
about
Tuesday. How about that?
oh my gosh. It's one of my favorite part of doing lives with you. So go ahead. It's fine. Just start with Tuesday because you already did. So go ahead.
Okay, well, Monday. Let's talk about Monday then. So, Monday was the first day of school for all Tracy residents. Well, not all Tracy residents, but the schools that are out here in Tracy is the first day of school. And for my daughter, it's her first day at school in high school. She moved from middle school to high school, and our son is second year in high school. And yeah, it's the first day of school. There's a lot of things going on the first day of school. Is that what you wanted to mention?
No, not at all,
Oh, oh,
but
okay.
you did. So Tracy started TUSD, Tracy Unified School District. Their first day was Monday. It was an early release day. So the kids didn't even have a full day of school when they went back. And what was interesting, I saw some of these schools have Instagram pages. And I even saw some coverage of back to school, first day of school on the news and some of the local news stations. So they were reporting and it's really interesting to see because I don't think I ever received a welcome like this when I went to school back in our day. But they had balloon arches, they have music, they have these entrance tunnels where everyone's high fiving everyone as you're going down the red carpet. And it's like, hey, back to school. It's almost similar to the Jennifer Hudson kind of tunnel. If you ever watch the people that are guests of her show before they get on to the stage they walk through the spirit tunnel and everyone's singing and chanting and hyping up the guests, so it was kind of like that. And they did that at some of the high schools. I don't think they do that in middle school or elementary school, but it was just interesting to see that they put so much passion into welcoming people that are coming back to school, or maybe it's their first year at that school. And the high schools really do have a lot of passion for welcoming people. So
So
that's
different from from our school days.
Right, right. No, I mean, I was lucky if people knew my name, right? Or if your teacher pronounced your name correctly. But now, well, at least in Tracy, they really emphasize, "Welcome back to school. We're so glad you're here. Welcome." And it just seems that the students are so welcoming towards each other. Our daughter was in several summer programs over the summer with TUSD, and she was able to meet some of the students, and all the clubs came and spoke to their group, and she was able to make friends. So on the first day of school, even though she was starting as a freshman in a new school, she wasn't alone or felt awkward. She knew people from, the summer programs. So, yeah.
which is nice. Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah. So that was the first day of school. And then we have Tuesday. So go ahead. You
So
can go
yeah,
ahead
so
and share.
Tuesday, so
I'm so
National
sorry,
Night.
but
Yeah, so National Night Out. If you guys don't know what that is, it is a kind of a nationwide thing. I've seen it in different cities around the Bay Area, but also here in the city of Tracy. It's supposed to build community, right? And what it does is it brings people that live in Tracy to some of the areas that are celebrating it, small businesses. I mean, just gets it's almost like a welcoming party to the city of Tracy. And it's like, let's meet the new people that are moving in, and let's welcome some of the people that have left, or just maybe want to maybe even see how Tracy is. So it's kind of nice. We held a booth out there at Southwest Elementary School, and the police came out. There was their school mascot, which was a roadrunner. Just a lot of community came by, and we had a booth. And we're realtors, so not many people wanted to come, so you have to be able to draw them in some way. So we had a wheel, and we had candy to give out, and just some, we had football schedules, stuff that is tangible that the community can take with them. So football schedules. So I'm sorry, it's only Raiders and Niners. So those of you that are not within those teams, sorry, you're gonna have to go to a different city and a different national night out. Sorry. But what was cool was the kids actually love. We know, holding many events here in the city, Tracy, that kids love spinning this wheel. And some of these kids were return offenders. They kept coming back trying to spin the wheel, and actually broke my pin that spins the wheel. So, but I was able to fix it. But what was also cool is, again, different aspect, right? We had candy, great. We had calendars, great. We had marketing material, great. But one of the prize wheels on the little pegs was a bubble shower. So I bought a bubble gun from Costco, and if somebody would win it, they would get surprised by a bubble shower, and the kids like went crazy. And I was like, it's kind of cool. And then people were like, "Can I eat it?" And I was like, "No, I wouldn't recommend it." But the kids loved it.
oh my
It was actually pretty cool because, again, kids would come over, the parents would come over, and I'd always ask them if the candies we had were okay, and they weren't allergic. So some people were allergic to eggs. So, but I mean, again, it was just a great community event. That is, it's only for a short few hours, but the police come out. They had a big armored truck, like almost like a SWAT truck, and a few local police officers came by. So it was just a great event for the community to, just to be in one with each other, right? So you're living there, you're planning to live there, so it's just a great event to have. So
Yeah, and it's funny because I went to my hairdresser, local business owner in Tracy. Shout out to Maritza. And I don't know how long she's been in Tracy, for how long, but she didn't know what National Night Out was. And I heard some girls in the salon talking about National Night Out and seeing each other there. And Tracy is such a small, close knit community. It's big, but it's also small at the same time.
mhm.
So it's not odd for you to run into some people that you've seen at other places because everyone goes to the same events. Like during the summer, there was, the summer nights kind of events where on the Fridays there would be music and performances and food trucks, and people would go out and just spend their Friday evening enjoying, just spending time with the community in downtown Tracy. And then there was also movie nights that they were doing for the kids, right? And things like that. So if you go to those community events, odds are you'll kind of see the same families or the same people from time to time. And I heard the girls in the hair salon, they were like, hey, I saw you at National Night Out. You were at National Night Out, right? So it's just interesting hearing people bump into each other and recognize each other from different events. And I feel, I mean, that's what makes Tracy, it gives it that small town community feel, even though it is a big city, I guess you could say. Um, but yeah, with National Night Out, you know, our experience was we first attended a few years ago. We saw a big gathering at a group and we're like, hey, what's going on there? What is that? And they were giving away prizes and there was a DJ and there were performances and things like that. And it was just a way to get out into the community, get out of your house, get off your phones, you know, get off of binging Netflix, and just being able to spend time with the community or your family, or just be out, you know, and it promotes safety and unity and community and all those things that it stands for. And different cities have it, right? So if you're not in Tracy, maybe your city has a national night out, but the ones in Tracy, there were at least, I think, 15 different sites that were doing uh, some type of national night out event. And you could even do it in your home and host something in your house. You know,
Yeah.
on July 4th, we did kind of our neighborhood block party, and we hosted in front of our house with the community, and we provided food and drinks, and we had games and stuff like that. So you could even do something like that in front of your house. And that's what I love about Tracy. You can do that kind of stuff. Whereas when we used to live in other cities in the Bay Area, you had to really talk to people to set things up or get permission, or you didn't even want to do that stuff because you're kind of worried about what kind of people would show up. Or sometimes, even if it was in a great neighborhood, you still have the Karens of the community and things like
Mm.
that. I mean, we used to live in Hayward, we used to live in Foster City. So we've seen different demographics of people in different areas all over the Bay, especially because we sell real estate all over the Bay. So each community kind of has its own type, I guess, of, and you have some neighbors that are nosy, some neighbors that are not, and some neighbors that are just awesome. You know, we really got to know our neighbors back in Hayward, you know, during COVID time, right? So, speaking of neighbors, unless there's something you wanted to say about National Night Out.
No, I mean, I think it's, I mean, just to, piggyback off of your little rant. No, but it's good. I mean, I think it's really, really good for community to get out there. In Hayward, we couldn't build that. It was hard to, because a lot of the people there, they stayed in their homes, or they just weren't living in those communities, and it would commute to other areas. So, but you know how they say like every city's got a ghetto, like every city and every neighborhood has a Karen. So, and I think that's perfectly, true. But sometimes those Karens are the ones that, they're your best security system, because they're always into somebody's business. And, if you have, if somebody, Susie's going into somebody else's backyard, and you run into somebody, doing something they shouldn't be doing, at least you kind of got the scoop on what's going on. So, but yeah, the main thing is to build community around it. If you're a small business owner, then it's definitely great. I met a few jewelers that were out there, and just your small businesses, right? It's great promotion for businesses, but also just for people to get to know each other, because you will bump into somebody. I think the population in Tracy's a shy of 100,000, probably surpassed that already. So it's a very, very small city, but very local small businesses are also surrounding it too. So,
Yeah, and
yeah,
even
speaking.
people you knew, right? Came up and
Hmm.
visited and you saw them and took pictures with people. So,
Hmm.
I mean, it's a
Yeah,
great way to invite people that you know just to have a good time or to meet new people, right?
yeah, definitely. And speaking of neighbors, go ahead and speak about our neighbor.
Okay, so we always try to promote our local community events, especially if we're involved with setting up or hosting. And like Mark said, National Night Out, we had a tent, we had a prize wheel and a table, a booth there. And so we printed out flyers, invited our neighbors. We always uh, try to drop flyers to our local neighborhood so that they know what's going on in the community. Um, And if they want to hang out with us, they want to hang out with us, right? If not, it's cool. But but our neighbor, so funny, we saw on our Ring camera, she rings our doorbell and she has our flyer in her hand and she says, "I'm sorry I wasn't able to make it, but don't give up on me," because we always invite her to our events and she's not able to make it for some reason or another, but it was just so cute that she came up to our doorbell and we weren't home, so we saw the recording on our camera, but she left us a little message saying, "Don't give up on me. I wanted to come. I'll just talk to you later when you're home." And so I thought that was really cute, um, to live in a neighborhood where neighbors do that, where you invite them. If they can't go, they'll come and leave doorbell messages.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
because we've seen,
and like I said, it's all based around community, and like we've during our July 4th event, we were able to meet some new people that moved in. We're talking 2 weeks, people like a month, and then people that have been there for 30 plus years. So it's great to get a mixed bag of people in a neighborhood, just so that you can build a community. Because that's the one thing, and the reason why we moved to Tracy's, because we wanted to have that type of community where our kids can grow up with the neighborhood kids and have that community where they can be like, hey, I'm about to go to, Jason's house to go play video games. Or, we could play. There's so many people on our street that are in the same age bracket where it's like, y'all could just come over our house and just, swim or whatever, which is really nice. But again, it's all about centered about community, because a lot of the people here I know commute to the Bay Area, and sometimes community is some of those things they don't have time for. So, but if there's kids playing basketball outside, or we see new people. I mean, we're always, good to, wave, or I'm always waving at random people that are driving by, which is kind of weird. But it's just good. Again, it's all of these things are centered around community, and where we live. So, next topic.
but they wave
So,
back, right? The funny thing is that
yes.
they wave back. Even if you wave at strangers as you're driving down the street or that are driving down our
Yeah.
street, they'll wave. And sometimes it's like, wait, did you know that person? Or we just wave to wave. And sometimes it is people we know. At our July 4th event, we're hosting outside of our house and there's cars driving by and it's like, hey, it's so and so. Where are you going? And they're going to their house down the street. Right. So that's the kind of community that we have in Tracy and that we've built in our neighborhood, but also was here even before we got here. Right. I
Yeah.
think
And
the
it's
people
sometimes
are
I'm waving
really
down
open.
to like, slow down, because our street is like a long strip and there's like no stop signs and no speed bumps. So, I mean, there's kids playing on that street. So we're very cautious to be like, slow down. And there's a lot of people, a lot of kids in that neighborhood. So, we definitely want to make sure that, they're safe, and anybody coming by, there are a few that we know of. So, but, nothing's happened and we want to keep it that way. So,
Yep. What else is happening in Tracy this week?
well, I do want to talk about the traffic that's going on Coral Hollow. Now, I understand a lot of people are like, "What is going on? It started on Coral Hollow, by the high school, and now it's making its way down into the neighborhood," which we understand. And I think if you guys don't already know, what they're doing is they're actually expanding the roads there. So if you're coming from, the Walmart area, you're coming from Grant Line, and you're going to be making a left from Coral Hollow to 11th Street, you notice that there is a second turn lane, which you guys don't realize because they probably haven't marked it properly. But there are, still some turn. There's two turn lanes now, versus the one single turn lane, and then it was a weird like bracketed area, or there you couldn't even go. So now they made two turn lanes, as well as two lanes to go straight, going towards Schulte, when you're coming off of Coral Hollow. Now it's gotten to like Coral Hollow and like Cypress, where it's like people are trying to get to the main street 11th, and they got to go all the way around through the neighborhoods. And now you have streets that are getting packed. So what they're doing is actually expanding the streets. That's one thing, so there's less traffic and more cars can get by, but also expanding the sewer line that is there. So they are definitely digging deep, trying to do something that's going to help us. So bear with them, give them some grace, because I was irritated, but I was like, you know what? It's probably what people before me were complaining about. that are now coming to fruition and getting it fixed. So the taxpayers of Tracy, thank you so much for your contribution into making that traffic happen. So
But you know what's funny? I don't even feel like there's really traffic. It's just there's signs in the street and you just have to take a different lane that you're used to. And maybe there's detours, but it's not congested or backed up to another block. I would consider traffic is if the cars are bumper to bumper and the cars are backed up to a whole nother block and you can't get to where you're going.
you
One,
probably should have saw it about maybe 35 to an hour, 35 minutes to an hour ago,
mm.
because
Oh yeah,
coming out, yeah,
because
coming
you
out of when you, on 11th, and you could see it in our neighborhood. It was backed up at least 6 blocks.
yikes. Okay, yeah, because
Yeah.
Mark does drop off and pick up, school drop off and school pickup. So it's probably really congested during that time. I don't do drop off and pick up because my husband's awesome and he does it for me. So I get to go out during lunchtime hours or hours where it's not as congested. I
Well,
could
well, here's the thing, and it's probably like this born identity, like from that movie where it's weird for me because no matter where I live, I always try to find 4 or 5 ways to get out of my neighborhood. Because if you don't know the detours on your own, then these people are detouring you the longest way possible. So for me, weaving through these different, neighborhoods, and it's always good to know what streets and where they're going, so how to get somewhere else. Because Waze will tell you one way, Google Maps will tell you another. But sometimes I'm like, why would Waze or Google Maps tell me to go this way? I can go this way. It'll save me X amount of time, this amount of miles. And again, so I'm not my own GPS, but it's always good, especially as a homeowner, to know where you're going, in the neighborhood you're around and the streets around you, so that way in the event of like some sort of zombie apocalypse, you know where to go, right? So, or traffic. So
yes.
um
And I don't know about you, but I absolutely hate, and I use hate. I never use the word hate, but I will use it this time because hate is a strong word. But I hate when GPS or Google Maps or Waze tells you to take a different way than the way that you should take, and it takes you much longer or it takes you through the traffic and it doesn't see the traffic or tell you that there's going to be congestion. And on Wednesday, I was driving to my hairstylist, local business owner in Tracy, support local, support local. Um, and I knew where I needed to go, but I put it in, it was my first time at that salon because my hairstylist had moved salons. So it was my first time to that location. So I put it in the GPS. And even though I knew where it was and I could get there probably with my eyes closed, I put it in the GPS and it told me to take some weird way that ended up costing me, it was only 5 minutes. You can get everywhere in Tracy in 15 minutes. So it's only 5 extra minutes, but that's a third of the time if you think about it. So
mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That was good. So I do hate that or extremely dislike
Mm.
when the map does that to me. But
It's a very adult answer. What else is going on? I know on the Tracy Razor Ranch, there's always talks about the McDonald's on 11th. Now, mind you, there are two on 11th, so you have to be very, very specific on which one it is. Is it the one with the Walgreens Plaza, or is it the one that is more downtown, across the street from La Costa? So you have to be very, very specific, because the one that's more downtown is a whole lot better. It's by Tracy High. Is a whole lot better than the one on 11th on, I think it's Gateway Plaza. But it's where Walgreens and Food Max, Cafe Dazzling, in that same plaza where that is. So there was a lot of complaints about people getting their orders wrong, which is weird. But people are always talking about things that are going on at Tracy that is bad. But there are also some raves where they talk about great, food places. So I think on the next one we'll talk about some of our favorite food places to go. And I we have some great ones that are out there. But it's weird because a lot of the ones that we went to, some of them actually have closed down and are no longer having a storefront property. I think they went, you know, with a truck. So um, let me see what else is going on in Tracy Race Rants. There's always they talk about the drivers that don't know how to drive, which is actually kind of funny because I think now in California there is a new law where you can't even touch your phone and you can get ticketed for it. So these people are literally putting themselves on blast because if we're a cop or somebody would be like, "Hey, I'm going to give you a ticket for this," you literally posted it on your on Tracy Race and Rant, and you know, getting caught. So I don't know how much that ticket is anymore. But yeah, so that's the things going on. What else is going on? Some new, there were a few new businesses that did open in Tracy. There was a few restaurants that opened up, so we'll see how. We haven't tried them out yet, but we'll definitely go check them out to see what's going on. But
Oh, here's
um,
something that happened. Um, August 5th, that was on Tuesday as well. Back to school, free haircuts for the Community
mhm.
Appreciation Day, one of the local barbershops. They do that every year, I notice. They give free haircuts away and they support the community. And so they were giving away free food. They had a video game truck, free haircuts, free backpacks. And also, the Boys and Girls Club of Tracy is also giving away free backpacks. So they took donations for backpacks and I believe school supplies. And that was pretty awesome that they're giving away stuff. So,
Yeah, I think Tracy TUSD is very very into their community as well as their schools because in Alameda County in Hayward they didn't have a lot of funding, so when my kids used to go to that school their schools they wouldn't have field trips. They'd have to pay for school lunches. In the city of Tracy or Tracy Unified School District, you don't have to pay for lunches. There's a lot that is surrounding kids that may or not be able to get supplies, so you could reach out to some of the local businesses that are definitely there, and they're always there to help because they're local businesses that is catering towards the community. So that's their way of giving back. I remember during the Tracy Food Fest, first one that ever happened with all the celebrities that came out. I mean, I think there were total maybe 3,000 plus people that came from different cities, and there was we actually had a local vendor that I mean a barber shop that I go to, not that one that you were looking at, but the one I go to is Golden State Barbers on Adam Street. And I remember first moving to Tracy, and I needed to find a barber, and there were a few that I went to that did not give good haircuts, but I went there. Great group of guys. They know what they're doing, and I went to shouts out to Golden State Barbers out there on Adams Street. But Andrew's a really, really good guy, and plus the owner and the people, all the guys there are really great. So I did a raffle off a haircut over there. Then they did get it. I just don't know, if they posted about it. But again, it's all about community. And all that stuff is definitely good. So a lot of the business owners like to give back.
yeah, I was going to say, shout out to Andrew, whom I don't know. But I know that you do go to him every 2 weeks or so, or whenever you get a haircut, and you spend a lot of time there and money. But they always give back. Like when we had our booth at the Tracy Food Fest at Street Eats, they donated haircuts, a couple of haircuts, and the National Night Out. So that's cool that you have a relationship with them where you can ask them and they donate their haircuts.
Yeah,
You know.
and I've been going to them for 3 years now. I mean, my son's starting to get haircuts from them, but I mean, I remember this one, and this is about giving back, right? I mean, there was one day they were, I think it was during the Thanksgiving or Christmas season, one of those days, and it was like a few days before Christmas, and I could overhear the guys like they were saying like, "Oh man, I'm so hungry, man. We don't have time for lunch. We got to go do this." So and I was asking my barber, I was like, "Hey, you guys been working long hours?" She's like, "Yeah, man, everybody's kind of been on, 10 hours working, pretty much working all day. We're fully booked. They opened at like 8, and they weren't done till about 8 o'clock, and this was around 2 o'clock, and they're like, they didn't get nothing to eat, so they've been busy the whole time." So there's about maybe 8 to 10 barbers there. So I went to La Costa. Shouts out to La Costa, right there on 11th, and I'm not quite sure what that street is, but it's the one on 11th, not the one on Grant Line. So the one where they used to take cash, only take cash, but now they do credit cards. But I bought like 8 to 10 burritos. I mean, you can't go wrong with carne asada and just that. So I bought 8 to 10 burritos, brought them there. I said, hey, bro, I don't need recognition. Just give these to your guys. And then he was like, and then he was like, hey yo, he bought me some burritos for the whole team, and everyone's like, oh, and I was like, oh come on man, I've got shorts on. Don't be taking no photos. But it's community driven, right? And it's like when I hear that, I can't just say these guys that haven't eaten. They probably got the money to do so, but they're trying to service the community. So why not bring the food to them, right? And that's the giving heart that me and Drain have. We're trying to build this community. Some people may not be able to do it, but I mean, I feel like God has a purpose, right? And that purpose was at that time was feed them. And I didn't give them any water because it seems like everybody had drinks, but at that time it was like burritos was fine. And I even the last time I came in there, the guy was like, hey man, I just want to thank you for those burritos, bro. They hit the spot. It was something we all needed. And I'm like, thank you for letting me serve you at that time, because you guys, again, they do a great job. And what better way to service them outside of what they already do and what they get, right? So
Awesome, awesome. I like it. I like it. So we're at 31 minutes and 25 seconds. Anything else you want to say about Tracy before we wrap our first episode of our new series, Talk Tracy to Me? Because
no,
we
I mean,
sure
I,
did. We
I mean,
sure
I
did.
think I think we could definitely talk Tracy to the ground, good and bad. But I mean, I don't want to sit here and talk bad about the city of Tracy. I'm always optimistic. So, and I think later on, once we start getting more traction, maybe we'll bring like a one of the local vendors and talk about their business on here, or something like that. But I mean, if there's anything that if you're a local Tracian, and now this was weird because I hashtag Tracians, but I don't know how to spell it. Tracyans. That's how I'm spelling it. So, but if you're a person that lives in Tracy, moving here or wanting to move here, we definitely want to be able to guide you and help you in the best way that we can. Shameless plug, we're realtors, so we can definitely help you in that aspect, especially with the interest rates where they are hovering 6.5 plus. But Tracy's market, there's a lot of activity, but there's also a lot of opportunity. So if there is a need, we want to be able to help you fill it, even if it's just an opinion about what Tracy offers. Then we'd love to be your support system here in the Central Valley, and not just Tracy, surrounding areas. Areas that we've serviced before as well. So, any final words?
No, I'm just looking at the Tracy Raves and Rants Facebook group, and someone posted, "Thank you to the city of Tracy for finally fixing that huge pothole on Grant Line Road by Parker Avenue." So, like you were talking about the construction, it's like, okay, our tax dollars are at work, for sure.
That's just
In
one of the many that are there, but hey, progress is progress. So,
Yep.
everybody, have a great day, fellow Tracians. We applaud you for staying here and being part of the community.
Bye.